Hi everybody, this is Wenzes from Below the Radar Above the System, and today's topic is INFJs and dealing with doubt. And when we talk about doubt, in this case, it's specifically if you're starting a new project, if it may be at work, or if you start your own business or anything that you want to achieve, and how to deal with those constant feelings of like overthinking and asking yourself if this is the right way. I think a lot of us struggle with this, and this is like one of the main reasons why we never achieve as much as we actually could, and that would reflect our potential. So I think what we have to consider first is what kind of phases we go through. We have two phases. The one phase is where you have an idea and you think this is great, this is something that can be beneficial for others, this is something that can get me ahead, this is something where I can achieve something. And then you have those phases where you just like really think into the future and ask yourself, am I gonna really achieve what I was looking for? Am I gonna fail? There's no sense in this whole thing. Why am I doing this? And I think INFJs struggle with this situation more than, let's say, sensors, because sensors, I've talked about this earlier in another video, they feel every time they're doing a little step, a little progress, they're like expanding their world pretty much. And with us, we have like always this overall view, where this is heading, how this is gonna be. So we're always future oriented, and therefore we're not really concentrating on the little steps that we're making, and it doesn't give us enough gratification to keep on going. And while we're in this, we not only have to look into the situation where we have those negative phases, but we also have to concentrate on the phases where we actually feel powerful about our idea, where we really feel how this is gonna affect us and everybody around us in a positive way. So yeah, let's start with the first situation. So you have those situations where you doubt yourself, you don't know where this is heading, and I really recommend that you really stop concentrating on one specific goal, as in I have to reach that point right there and then I'm gonna be successful. I have to reach that one goal and then I'm gonna be happy. This is not how it works, because there's so many things we don't know that's gonna happen to us that we have no control over, that we can't really be sure that this is the actually right direction for us. So what you have to do is, first off, always concentrate on self-growth. I've said this before, but let's say you start a business and you want to sell vitamins. Just like a simple example. Okay, so you want to sell vitamins. Why do you want to sell vitamins? That's like the first questions you want to ask yourself. If you think this is just something I can make money with, then you should always ask yourself, is that really what I'm like want to do? Is like really making money that what's gonna keep me motivated? I don't know, probably not, especially since we're not that like fixed on money, and gaining money is not really something that will make us happy or give us enough gratification. But let's say you're wanting to sell those vitamins because you've taken them and they've been really good to you. You feel more powerful, you feel more energized, then that's a different story, because every time you recommend those products to somebody, you're doing it because you're like consciously aware and you know that this is something that can be beneficial for others. So first off, really think if what you're doing right now is really helping somebody. And it doesn't have to be like something like products. Let's say I'm at work and I have like my derivative cases and what's so not. And I know my colleagues would struggle with this. I know they would. And I know that when I get to it and I take on like a challenge, I know I can help them in such a way that will make their life and their work easier. So that's like one thing that really keeps me motivated. So stop like really focusing on one goal, but keep on thinking about the challenge. And I talked about this also before, that everything you learn, like the way you learn, that's something you can use for the future. So even let's say you start with those vitamins, and then after a year or two, and then you see, okay, this is not like really what I wanted to do, and I don't like in what direction this is going, and I'm not that convinced that this is my path. Everything you learned in those 2 years, how to talk to people, how to promote yourself, how to learn, is going to be beneficial for everything else. So these are the thoughts I want you to concentrate when you're in one of those low phases. And to stop really concentrating so much on like the big future thing, because what we have to do is really live more in the moment. I know if you look like at sensors or you look at other people and you so often think, why are you just living in this moment? Why don't you think about what this is gonna cause you in the future? That's what we ask people. But at the same time, if we really want to learn and we really want to grow, then we have to take similar measurements with us. But we can't tell ourselves, oh, you gotta like look more into the future and think about how it's gonna happen. We actually have to do the exact opposite because we already live in the future. So we have to concentrate more nowadays. What are we doing today that's making us feel better? Is that one step that I'm doing better than or worse than not doing it? Just like this one little step that's going on. And if this one little step is like better in your whole progress, then do it. Okay? And I'm sorry. Barry showed me an article, I think a couple weeks ago, and yeah, I've read this before somewhere, that it takes a while before your brain really realizes like a new routine. Now, remember I've talked about how important it is to have rituals? Well, rituals are the thing that get you through those negative phases, because you keep on doing it because, you know, rituals are good for me. Working on something that I think is good is helping me, and every time you take on a new step, the more you get used to it, and then you get you just get into like a habit of it, and you don't really realize that you feel bad if it's not working out. At the same time, once you hit those negative phases, I want you to also concentrate what would it mean to fail. Like a lot of personality types can't really bear the thought of failing because it's just like emotionally too intense. But I have experienced with myself that I'm actually drawn to these thoughts. I'm drawn to these negative thoughts because it's like an intensity that I'm craving. And this is something we can use, because every time we don't like abandon a thought or we just put it away somewhere where we actually concentrate and we look at it, then we just get used to it and it goes away. I mean, like we just realize that this is something that can happen, and it's not the worst thing. Like, what's gonna happen? You start your business and then you fail. So what? At least you tried. Like, it's always better to try than not do anything, because if you don't do anything, you're already lost. So in situations where you doubt, just remember those things, because it's always better to try. It's always better to challenge yourself. Think about you as an individual and what's important to you and for your growth and for your happiness, and know that when you challenge yourself and when you do these things, then you're also helping not only yourself but also people around you, because you motivate them with that, you inspire them with that. Okay, so in the positive situations, what a lot of us often do is we have, like, let's say we have a negative phase, and then one day we have this like positive thing and we think, oh, what a great day, and I'm like, this feels so good and this could be so exciting, and we sometimes don't want to dwell in it. We're like too scared to like really like get into it, because we're scared that once it goes away, the loss is gonna be so much bigger. But that's actually wrong, because you're always going to have those positive and then those negative phases. And the best way to get into a new direction is always to concentrate on the positives. So when you have one of those positive days, then really go all out. Listen to music that like inspires you, that makes you even stronger. Go and talk to people. Use that energy you feel at that moment to actually do something. Don't just like wait it out and think, oh, I'm gonna feel bad about it yet tomorrow again. No, like use those phases, and really just do something that really gives you a positive feeling, because in those phases your feelings are actually present, and this is something you should use. You know, your FE, like use it to your advantage at that point. And so you have always those negative phases and those positive phases. And once you're like really low, what happens is you have like 10 negative days and then you have one positive day. And then it depends on how you're gonna, that's just an example, and then depends how you're gonna treat those days. So if in those 10 days that you're negative, you push yourself to do those rituals, to remember every time I do a step, no matter what it means like in the big future, but right now I have to concentrate on today. I have to concentrate on making a progress. I'm challenging myself. You know that you're doing something good. So those negative phases, they become less depressing to you. At the same time, you also think about, oh, okay, what is the worst that's gonna happen? Like, don't abandon the thought, but like really stare at it. Like, challenge your fears, like look at them straight in the eye and just get used to it. Like, really be aware that yes, you can fall, and you definitely will fall at some point, because the way to success is never success or failure. It's failure, 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 success. Okay, so you will fall on the way. So don't be scared of it and get used to it. Sorry. So, and then you have like this one good day after those 10 days. And if you really, really push yourself and really make the most out of it, the next time, you're not gonna have 10 negative days. You're probably gonna have only 8. And even after those 8 days, you can really like motivate yourself and say, no, I'm gonna like listen to something that made me feel good. I'm gonna remember those things I was thinking on that one positive day that really made me feel good, and I'm gonna do it more. Okay, so it becomes from 10, 1, then becomes 8, 2, then 7, 3, and so on. And at some point, you'll see how they really become equal. And then at some point, you're just gonna have those positive days. And then everything starts going, because you know that you're doing this because on the one hand, it's become a ritual. Number 2, you know that when you do them, you really like feel better about yourself. And every time you feel better, you can like give more, you can be better with everybody around you, and you're learning something. So you're never going the wrong direction when you're doing this. And then at some point, you just probably got, and like the best thing is gonna happen at some point, you just have positive things. You get addicted. I always told you, like, you have this huge space you need to fill, this void of your energy, and you have to fill it up by yourself, because only that way you're really independent, and you're not you don't depend on anybody or anything to make you happy, but you yourself can do that for you. So yeah, this is it for now. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye.